response video to a Fred video. Finally, he's outed himself on this antinatalism subject and his problem with it. And apparently his problem with it is really subtle. I mean, he's basically said, well, I'll play his video. Yeah, I guess that's the simplest thing to do, just play it. I did make a previous video, I don't think I'll post it, where I just read what he wrote, responded to that, and yeah, I just don't, you know, I was more hostile than I'd like to be. I'd like to be calmer in this response, possible.
Just thought I'd make a quick video saying why I am not an antinatalist.
Yeah, it's not that quick, 17 minutes, 18 minutes really. Yeah. But it comes down to, like I said, it's more about the style of antinatalism is what it's really an argument about. Because he's basically going to say that he thinks, well, play it.
And when I say that, I say it with a little bit of regret, and it's not entirely true, because I would actually quite like to say that I am an antinatalist. I would like to say that. What I'd like that to mean is that I have a very strong interest in, and perhaps even commitment to, the idea that bringing a life into the world, procreation, is worthy of the same kind of moral concern, moral interest, moral thought that taking a life out of the world is.
Right, so he's just put them in this, he's made a parallel connection. I don't know why moral thought. I mean, it's just so, why use the word moral? That you should, it's the same gravity of decision. Your decision to kill somebody should be as weighted as that. But we know that people kill people because, oh, they stepped on their property, or we know that nations kill people because they're greedy motherfucking cunts. So yeah, it kind of depends on how you look at it. But the average human doesn't kill anybody. I mean, they live their life and they don't kill anybody because they don't have enough cause to do it. And so, yeah, if people acted that way, well, most people do act that way, though. This is what the subject is really about, right? Most of the nataling is happening in one specific population of humans. They're definable, they're describable, they're categorizable. And that's really the subject, is should they be driving the human bus? But whatever, we'll get to that later.
If that was a definition of antinatalism, then I would go along with it completely. But it's, hold on, the definition.
Yeah, right. Well, the definition of antinatalism, it doesn't have anything to do with me or all the other crapheads that you don't like, okay? All the people that would push the red button types. Okay, so you can have the word antinatalism. I really don't want the word, to tell you the truth. I never liked the word. That's why I came up with a new word, because I think the word is just bogus. You know, because people aren't going to take it to its logical conclusion. Its logical conclusion is that it's wrong to have kids. Not that I personally am not going to have kids. No, it's wrong. It's like a rape, and that rapists should be stopped. Duh. It's imposing without competence. Incompetent imposition. Can we just call it that? Fuck this stupid anti-this and that. Just call it incompetent imposition and make it a crime that it is.
Of antinatalism depends on who you talk to, but I certainly wouldn't be prepared to call myself an antinatalist on YouTube or on Facebook. Some of you may know there's a Facebook group on antinatalism.
Yeah, no, who would bother with Facebook? Yeah, not me.
Which I think has quite a significant overlap in terms of membership. With YouTube antinatalists, the rhetoric is very similar, the language is very similar. But so why wouldn't I want to be an antinatalist? Why do I think that's a term which has been made toxic on YouTube? Or it just makes unacceptable. Certainly unacceptable to me. I wouldn't go near that term.
Yeah, whatever. Ooh, scary, scary term. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I wouldn't go near fucking a dead swan. I wouldn't mock a dead rabbit.
Until I can be sure it's cleaned up. There's a lot of reasons, I'll tell you, there's a lot of reasons. The first...
Oh, yeah, whatever. There's a lot of reasons, yeah, and you're not going to provide any rational ones. You're not going to provide any fucking evidence or facts or anything. You're just going to make a bunch of broad accusations impugning people's character. And, yeah, that just makes you a shithead. Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be made out of clay. You should be made out of shit. We should let Vox Neruda make a conference report. And you could mold it out of a piece of shit.
Reason is to do with and this is first just in terms of what comes to mind, not in terms of priority necessarily, is its kind of resolute anti-intellectualism.
Oh, whatever. No, I mean, that accusation goes absolutely nowhere. Anti-intellectualism. Right. There's this deliberate, overt effort to keep things as clinical and as careful and as, explicit language about what we are, where we came from, all that kind of stuff, and you're going to call that anti-intellectual. It is as separate from silly, frivolous, convenient philosophy as possible. And here you are, you're going to say it's anti-intellectual. I mean, it's just such a bullshit accusation. I'd say you're anti-intelligence. You're anti-knowledge. You're an anti-knowledgeist then. I'll just make the accusation. You're anti-knowledge.
It's deep, I'm generalising, I know there's exceptions, some of you out there do like the idea.
Yeah, well, this is all pussy shit too. Name names, all right? If you're going to say something about somebody, you're going to impugn their character. I know some of you un-antinatalists aren't child molesters. I know some of you perverts who want to have kids don't want to suck their dicks. I know some of you aren't little kid dick suckers. I mean, fuck you. This stupid bullshit.
Recognise the importance of intellectual thought, but a lot of it isn't. A lot of the things people say, a lot of things you say, Gary, a lot of the things determinist one, the things that you say.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Quote, quote, quote. How many fucking times does somebody have to say, hey, how about a quote? How about a quote? How about a quote? How about a quote?
Well, I won't nail any more names, but you can follow where I'm going with that. It's just ridicules the idea of intellectual thought.
Oh, bullshit. Yeah, bullshit. Prove it. yeah, like you have any hope of doing that. No, you're just a slandering asshole like the rest of them.
Particularly intellectual thought that you don't understand, quite frankly.
Oh, well, look at that. And he's going to, he uses words like elitism and fascism and all this other stuff, and we don't understand, quite frankly. What a pile of fucking shit. I'll debate you on any subject, fuckwit. Name a subject, and I'll bury you. All right? Because I understand everything more than you do, I think. Everything. I don't think there's a fucking thing I don't understand better than you, than the interior of unicorns' colons. Yeah, I don't know shit about unicorn colons. Okay, so if it's not a subject about unicorn colon or some other fantasy subject, yeah, I'll kick your ass.
And that's a problem for all kinds of reasons. It's a problem for me personally because I'm an intellectual.
Yeah, you're an intellectual. What a joke. You're a phantasmagorical, wishy-washy mush purveyor. You're a seller of crap and shit and nonsense. You're a nonsensitist. That's what you are. A fairy storyist. A fableist.
That I work in a university. So, of course, I have my own vested interest in that.
yeah, duh. And it's showing so fucking, it's showing more than your wiener in that clay statue.
More broadly, people who are working for causes, who are trying to develop ideas, can't really afford to be anti-intellectual. Because if you're not.
Oh, what an accusation! Anti-intellectual. Like what exactly? What real facts? What real scientific thing has any antinatalist been opposed to? Name me one, please. Just one. What the fuck? The goddamn computer blipped out. Son of a bitch, and I don't think I saved my work. Shit. Yeah, that's the only appropriate response to that. Like black screen. But this one's still working. Damn it.
Taking on ideas of intellect. If you're not respecting intellect in all its forms, trying to work with that.
All its forms? What the hell does that mean?
Yourself to the backwaters of ignorance.
Oh, backwaters of ignorance. Will you back this up with something? This ridiculous rhetoric? This is ridiculous rhetoric. Back it up. I dare you. I defy you. I challenge you, you goddamn slandering asswipe. You're going to sit there and charge somebody with ignorance or anti-intellectualism? Then back it up. You suck.
I mean, that's what you would have to do. in order to do that. It leads inevitably to the kind of Southern Baptist logic of universities as places it just leads to that. You can't do anti-intellectualism, and you certainly can't be selective about it, which I also see.
Oh, I mean, it's just such a fucking... Is there any facts here? Is there anything? What is anti-intellectualism? Prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it. Prove it! Oh, man, what the fuck is going on with the power? Son of a bitch.
Within, I think, YouTube antinatalism, certain ideas, certain theories, certain intellectual ambitions are accepted because they happen to coincide, whilst others are...
Oh, what does that mean? Oh, yeah, we accept evolution. Ooh, spooky, spooky. Better turn this off. It looks like the power is going to keep fucking up. It's one side of the 220. I guess that's why this computer's still working, is because it's on one circuit. That one's on the other one. But anyway, it's better without the fan going, isn't it? Oh, a lot better.
Condemned, not because of their content, but they're just kind of ridiculed because they come from an intellectual source.
Oh, I mean, again, this is just nonsense, right? You didn't back up any of this stuff. I mean, fuck this bullshit. This is what you get from professors, right? This is the crap professors spew.
You don't need no book of learning around here. That's the kind.
Oh man, that is just so amazing. You mean books of mumbo and jumbo? Oh, we all aren't giving enough. We're not bowing to the mumbo jumbo of all these arcane function. I mean, just plainly ignorant people of 200 years ago. We should glean all our philosophy from the people making wild guesses. Now that we have all this science, we have all this evidence, we have electron microscopes, no, let's listen to them instead. Because they're telling a story you like better. You don't like the truth that's being revealed.
Kind of approach, which is unacceptable for all kinds of reasons. And I say I wouldn't want to associate myself with that.
Well, I wouldn't either. Yeah. So yeah, you're slander. You're just a slandering motherfucking prick.
The opposite end of that, which is also present, is a kind of, I don't want to call it classism, but a kind of deep disrespect for what are perceived to be undereducated people.
Yeah, and like there shouldn't be a deep disrespect for undereducated people who opine way beyond their competence, right? Complete assholes who haven't even opened Darwin, and they won't read it, and they'll tell us it's not the truth, right? So we should have there's something like too little respect for something that fucking idiotic. There's some capacity to have too little respect for that. I don't think there's any such thing as too little respect for these arrogant, uneducated, unknowledgeable, dumb fuckers who seem to be able to opine on the meaning of life. Yeah, sorry, fail.
The stupid people, the stupid and the poor, come in for a lot of flack within antinatalism on YouTube, within some people. Again, I want to restrict that. Not everybody. But that really was brought on to me.
Well, guess what? The stupid and the poor don't have to be stupid, okay? Poverty's a little hard to fix, but the stupidity part isn't hard to fix. And especially the amount of intelligence it takes to understand that giving birth to something, creating a life, is a huge responsibility. And you shouldn't be doing it for selfish reasons. Now that doesn't take much more than this much information. It doesn't take much of a fucking brain to be able to figure out that you don't use kids to farm your farm, or to pass on your name, or to do some other ego bullshit. Okay, if you're using children to do that, then you're not even running on empty. You're running on nothing. You're running on shit. I mean, you got shit for brains if that's what you're having kids for, and that's what most poor people are doing.
Recently, I made a video out in Chalcombe Hardy. I was just standing in the middle of a street with a sign saying, "Life is stupid." And I had a script which I'd prepared beforehand, a set of talking points really, to do with what I perceived to be some core values within the antinatalist set of principles.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they were just slanders, right? Because you don't seem to understand antinatalism. I guess it's over your head.
To do with purposelessness, to do with the evolution of desire, to do with the presence of suffering, to do with the moral responsibility for procreation, those kind of.
The ethical responsibility, again, moral, moral, moral. Why are you using this word? Why are you using the word moral? You're choosing to use that word. There's other words for fairness, justice. You don't have to use the word moral. So why are you doing it?
Things, and talk to people for about an hour out in the street. A whole range of people, you know, school kids, working men, drunks coming back.
Yeah, so, and right, again, it was a pointless, silly sign, so why didn't you put on the sign, you should pay for your own reproductive choice? You know, be a little daring.
From the pub at lunchtime, young mothers with push chairs, people who are clearly Muslims.
Boring.
You know, white old guys who have clearly been alive and fighting in the Second World War. And what came from me there was a level of interest, you know what I mean? It wasn't intellectual jargon, you know, and I certainly softened my approach. I didn't, you know, do any intellectual stuff in it. Didn't use the word antinatalism just so it, because it would be unnecessary and confusing. But I, you know, got a level of engagement which was really interesting. And any kind of set of ideas which doesn't take on board what people are actually saying.
What are you saying? Oh, okay, let's see if you're saying something.
And dismisses them as stupid if they don't happen to agree with you, or
right, so that's another cheap accusation. I've only made 4,000 videos defending my beliefs, so this is kind of a bogus argument, right? Just because they disagree with me? No, because they're spouting a premise that's not reality. The premises lead to the conclusion. The premises are the argument. I mean, all you have to do is defeat one of the premises. Defeat the fact that it's a replicating molecule, that it's a biological process, that everything that we are just tools for a gladiator war. Defeat those premises, or shut the fuck up.
This is them as inherently delusional because they happen to be pushing a baby stroller. You know, I wouldn't want anything to do with that. You know, I mean, seriously, that's...
Yeah, right. You wouldn't want to get real. That's right, because that would be real then. That's the real subject.
Bankrupt for all kinds of reasons, and I wouldn't want to go near it. So those things. Yeah, also, I guess this is kind of connected to anti-intellectualism. But the idea that you wouldn't learn from history, that's...
You know, whatever. Learn from history. I mean, you know, what the lessons of history are what? Human beings suck?
Again, present in YouTube versions of antinatalism. We don't need to read no Schopenhauer. We don't...
Who's saying that? I don't need to read it, to tell you the truth. I read it, okay? Like I said, I read it. There's nothing in there. What is it? Well, where? Write it down. You wrote this shit. Well, if Schopenhauer's got something to say, let me hear it. Write it down. Let's see it. Because I didn't see it, okay? It's just, yeah, duh. Life is stupid. Oh, yeah, I got that part.
We need to look back at the history of intellectual thought. Because we're doing it right now. And the reason why that's hugely problematic is it condemns you to splash around in the shallow end of thought.
Oh, really? Really? So this is the extent of your argument, that somehow Schopenhauer was making the better argument, or Buddha. So prove it. Demonstrate it. Make their argument for them, okay? And let me challenge those arguments. Buddha's argument was vacant. You know, life is suffering. I mean, you're not saying that's not fucking immature nonsense? That's pretty inarticulate gibberish? It's a little more complicated than that, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. And that the way out of suffering is somehow not to desire? Well, I'm afraid not. Desire is the least of your problems if you got cancer. Oh, fuck you and this bullshit.
You know, most of what passes for antinatalist thought right now on YouTube and in Facebook is really the kind of stuff that's covered in the first chapter of one of the first books of Schopenhauer, you know? Kind of, you know.
Oh, yeah, right. Slander. Go ahead, prove that. Go ahead, prove it. Let's see you post some Schopenhauer and show me how his insights are so fucking brilliant. Show it to me, shithead.
It's elementary stuff. And it's like reinventing the wheel really laboriously.
Oh, really? Well, whatever. I mean, this kind of nonsense accusation is just that. It's just a bullshit accusation. You don't think the human race needs to be laboriously gotten up to speed? that most people really aren't up to speed. They don't understand biology. They certainly don't understand evolution. They don't understand the mechanisms that decided our fate and our destiny. They don't understand any of those, do they? What do you think the average person knows about those subjects? What percentage have a working knowledge of evolution? 3, 2, 1%? Yeah, choke on that, fucker.
You know, the reason why you go back and look at historical precedents for these ideas is because the ideas have been moved on. People have done things with those ideas. You're not citing Schopenhauer as a way of claiming the intellectual high ground by association with somebody famous. You do it because you say, look, the ideas that you're talking about now, as if you just invented them wholesale, were thought about here. This is what he said. He said it better than you. It was refuted.
Well, it says you again, so that's just your fucking opinion. So go ahead, post Schopenhauer, and I'll do just like Tranquil does, and I'll fucking beat the shit out of him, okay? Because Schopenhauer was just an elitist prick. What value does his fucking opinion have to me? None whatsoever. I don't see any great insight. Sorry, I don't see it. I see a bunch of droning on and on and on and saying not a motherfucking thing.
Refuted by this person, then Schopenhauer came back and said that, which is a really good argument, and then it was moved on by this person. You know what I mean? So these ideas have been said before.
Yeah, name the person, okay? Where in the Benatar book does he sit there and rely on, 4 million? The whole book is built on Schopenhauer. No, he quotes a few of these intellectuals. He quotes a few people who've uttered the words, "I'd rather not have been." Okay, and that's the extent of it. And then he moves on to make his argument. Fuck you, that fellow you called him. Showing so much intellectual integrity. You showed your anti-intellectualism when you called him that bloke.
Better, and they've been moved on quite a long way.
Prove it. Where have they been moved on to? Where? Where did Buddha move on to? The Flaming Death Awards? What the fuck did they move on to? Let's pretend we're dead. That'll be really cool, and then poor people give us money for pretending we're dead. Yeah, that solves the problem. That fucking solves the problem. Boy, that solves the whole suffering problem, didn't it? Oh, that's right, it didn't.
And unless you recognise that, as I say, you just look retarded. You just look like you're not engaging.
Right, you're the asshole fucking goddamn swans, and you're going to talk about who's looking retarded.
Really, you're just pulling stuff out of your ass. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, well, you can say that until the cows shit on your head, okay? But you haven't proven any of it. You haven't quoted any of it. You haven't demonstrated any of it. But you have no fucking balls. You're just a dickless wonder.
And again, I wouldn't want to be associated with a term. I wouldn't call myself an antinatalist if that term meant someone who pulls things out of their ass.
Yeah, you're the one pulling it out of your ass. You haven't proven anything. You haven't demonstrated anything. You haven't sourced anything. You haven't done a motherfucking thing but make accusations pulled out of your fucking ass.
What else? Okay, I wouldn't want to because it argues in metaphor. Metaphor, figurative language, poetic approaches. I've got a lot of respect for that. I know a lot about it, to be frank. I've done
yeah, you're a real expert on that. Yeah, right. Sure you are. Expert on metaphor. Amazing. Shit.
Work on it. But I also know enough to know that when you're trying to make truth claims, you can't argue the metaphor, you can't argue the analogy, you can't argue the allegory. You don't argue whether the trapdoor really exists or not. You don't argue to what extent DNA is a driving force, or biological organisms and machines. You don't do that. You recognise that these things are metaphors, or synecdoches, or metonymies in those last two cases.
Oh, whatever. No. This is exactly what you do when you're going to explain something. You compare it to other things in the category. When something's in a category, you pull other things out of the category and say, see how much it's like this thing that's in the category too? That's why I'm putting it in this shit category. Here's an example of a shitty game. Okay, here's an example of a not shitty game. Here's one that's fair and here's one that's unfair. See, they're in different categories. And you see, this belongs in that category because it's just like that. It's a shitty game. So that's what you use metaphors for. That's what you use analogies for, is to show examples of things that would fit into the same category. Not that fucking complicated, but no, you'll just use your Professor Anton-esque butchery of reality to play a game and pretend there's something else that metaphors and analogies are for. They're just there to give people something to compare things to, because comparison is the way you filter. That's one of the functions of filtering, is comparison. You put two things on the scale and say, okay, this one's heavier, this goes in the heavy pile, this goes in the light pile, and then you refilter those, and then you refilter those, and that's the process, and that's what logic does, you stupid cunt. That's how much you know about it. You know shit about it. All you know is fancy words that you don't understand the meaning of, so fuck you.
And you go to the underlying data, you go for the theory that those metaphors and analogies try to explain. That's where you go. So if it's constantly splashing around on the surface of the poetry, it's hopeless, really.
Well, you're the one doing poetry. I'm not doing any fucking poetry. Okay, so it's just a bogus. You know, if we can't run it as if it's some other system, you have to compare systems to systems to systems to systems. So you compare games to games to games to games. Okay, and so your metaphor life is a game, because basically that's what we're playing. That's how it is. That's how it functions in every important respect. Okay, game theory applies, and it's perfectly reasonable to analyze it as a game.
So I wouldn't want to be associated with a term that is used to describe people who use that kind of argumentation strategy, because it's not a good argumentation.
Yeah, well, whatever. I wouldn't want to be associated with you or any of your fucking clan, okay? You're a bunch of slandering, lying, motherfucking, unaccountable assholes, okay? You're dickless, you're afraid, you're pussies. You won't make a real argument, you just slander people. Fuck you.
Strategy, it's bankrupt. It's one that's often used by religious folk.
Yeah, right. You're the phantasmagorical jackass. You're the one who was going to read your wee woo. What happened to that? Where's your wee woo that you're going to read us all? Yeah, you're the religious nut.
Other reasons. Another reason would be because it's, at least on YouTube and to a certain extent Facebook, it comes as a package. And it comes as a really unfortunate package with other ideas. It's associated with other ideas. Particularly things like a really crude version of hard determinism. I say it's crude because the idea that antinatalism is a cause, therefore can be activist, make changes in the future according to what you do now, flies right in the face of hard determinism.
Well, no, it doesn't, okay? Because hard determinism, ideas are part of the determinism, okay? Ideas go viral. There's even terms like that. Okay, it's a metaphor, but that's what they do, okay? Ideas migrate. They move through the spiral of the bullshit, and they gain dominance like anything else. And that's part of the determinism. Part of the determinism is you have to plant the seed before the plant grows. That's how determinism works, shithead. But you're too stupid to understand that simple concept, that ideas are seeds, that they grow, they get built on, they transmit from one person to another. But you're too stupid to understand that.
But that aside, it's associated for no good reason as far as I can see with for example, determinism.
Well, I don't know where the association is. All this shit only comes up because some asshole makes the counter argument. Okay? And so then we make the counter argument to their counter argument. But there's nothing in the anti-natalism argument that necessitates explaining to people there's no UFOs, or that, there's no, whatever. You're not going to be able, there's no I inside of you that's going to choose your choices, okay? There's your programming, and that's all there is.
Doesn't need to be. And I wouldn't want to commit myself to a whole raft of ideas. But all I'm interested in is...
Yeah, you don't want to commit yourself, exactly. So you're not committed to evolution, number one. You're not committed to a deterministic universe, number two. So the basic premises that are part of the premises, these are premises, that is true. I think most anti-natalists fall into the category that they've accepted this is the reality. It's a material universe, and it's stupid as hell. And it's only by bad happenstance that it's put sentience in this fucking gauntlet of bullshit.
The idea that procreation has a moral value, perhaps equivalent to the moral value of taking your life out of the world. That would be enough Anything else just clouds the issue.
Well, I don't see how that makes the issue any different, right? So if you're saying that having a baby irresponsibly is equivalent to murder, then we're allowed to have stiff penalties for violation of that ethical norm, and we're certainly obligated to create preventive mechanisms to prevent people from committing murder. So just as we could have gun laws or some other law to prevent people from killing people easily, we could have fertilization laws that regulate how fertile people are going to be allowed to be. Yeah, it seems perfectly rational if it's morally equivalent. Shit for brains.
And also a commitment to a metaphysical realism. This is a really weird one. I can kind of see why.
This is your making up bullshit again, okay? This metaphysical word is your bullshit word, okay? It's not a real word. It's nothing. It's a pile of shit. I have no metaphysical beliefs.
Metaphysical realism is the belief that the world without us would be exactly the same as the world with us, just without us. It's a commitment. This universe, this world that we see here, is an accurate representation, accurate and total representation of the world. This is what the world is like. So take the human element and just put that.
Well, it's too bad this all went so bad. So you're saying that metaphysics, now your definition, see, this is why the word metaphysics is useless, because people have way too many definitions of this word, this concept. But you're saying that there's somehow some rational alternative perspective to the one that says if humans didn't exist on Earth, the universe would be exactly the same? That somehow that's not the truth? That somehow we are affecting the other planets and the whole universe's structure? Is that your argument? Then I think you're fucking nuttier than a religious kook.
It becomes empty. Well, that's not how science sees it. It's not how...
Well, you prove that again. It's not how science sees it. Demonstrate that with something real. Quotes. Authoritative quotes that have some sort of evidence, some sort of experimental evidence, even some sort of logical explanation of how it is even possible for us to have any resonance that's bouncing through the universe. Oh, that's right, it's flying through your fifth dimension or your ninth dimension, the super special sauce that we're all really made out of. It's a phantasmagorical fable. It's a fucking story as silly and as stupid as Goldilocks. You're just making shit up. You're pulling it out of your fucking ass.
It's not how science sees it. It's a metaphor.
Yeah, so you're speaking for science now. I can't speak for the abused by these pro-natalist assholes, these irresponsible pricks, these egomaniacal lunatics. I can't speak for the victims, but you can speak for science.
Physical claim. The idea that the world is inherently, in and of itself, like this, without human mind, it's mind independent. That's what
mind. So use the word mind, okay? So just like you use morality, you've deliberately using the word mind. What is a mind, Fred? There's brain. There's programmed brain. Are you arguing that our programming, the whatever we are, we have a spirit, and the spirit is floating around in the seventh dimension spiriting? What's your fucking theory, you religious kook?
That claim. It's a difficult claim. It's almost impossible claim to support philosophically. It has a long history of people trying to...
Says you. So go ahead, prove this. Prove some of this fucking doubt that the material universe is the material universe and it has 3 known dimensions. Go ahead, prove that. Then the word dimensions were just invented. It's just an invented concept. It doesn't really have any fucking dimensions. It has structure. It has properties. Okay? These are the properties. Up, down, left, right, forward, back. These are the properties.
It is associated with religious ideas. It's associated with faith. Because ultimately it's an act of faith to believe that the world stays there when you're not there.
Oh, now it's an act of faith to believe the thing that is proven by every scientific experiment you could do, every observation you could personally have, everything supports the theory that the material universe is not dependent on my existence, and yet, that's the leap of faith. So now we can declare this fuckwit a religious kook, right? I mean, we have it now, right? We have the religious kookery evidence. There it is for you. It's right in front of you. Watch out. Okay, there's no doubt, right? He's just declared his religious kookery.
I know that sounds weird, but it's just true. Look into the philosophical history.
Yeah, so he can tell us what the truth is, but we can't say what the truth is. Isn't that brilliant? I mean, the hypocrisy is so fucking amazing. He can declare the truth, but none of us can declare the truth. Yeah, hypocrite, 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 hypocrite. Back to the movie. You suck.
And the kind of resistance to that idea by YouTube antinatalists is... So for me, it's partly baffling. I don't know why you would do that. I don't think you need to do that.
Oh yeah, why would I not believe in fables and fairy tales about fifth dimension transference of my intellectual scheming brain? The brain that a cockroach has and an ape has and all these other organisms have. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to believe that if humans didn't evolve on planet Earth, that gorilla souls would be flying through the universe on the special fifth dimension train. Fuck.
Anybody needs to do that. But in a sense, it's also revealing of an insecurity, of an intellectual insecurity. The ideas aren't strong enough to resist interpretations which include better science, let's put it that way.
Better science. I mean, this is just hilarious. Now this is hilarious. I'm just going to mock this. I mean, this is silly talk. Right, we're the intellectually weak. We're the ones running away from the argument. No, I don't think so. Yellow dress. Put on a yellow dress, you pussy.
Better philosophy. You have to restrict your philosophy to a single world view. You have to make it the real world, and then you have to describe what the world is like.
Oh, really? This is that challenging. So again, so we know what he is now, all right? He is the phantasmagorical I declared him to be. He's a unicorn. He's up the unicorn. He's got his head right in the unicorn's ass. Okay, he's counting on the existence of some other truth. Okay, biological evolution, survival of the fittest. This is not the truth. Okay, the truth is something else according to him. Okay, he does not believe in evolution. He doesn't believe in abiogenesis. He believes in something else.
And that's it. Again, I would say that's completely bankrupt, and I wouldn't want to be associated with a philosophy. This isn't even a philosophy. I'm sorry, it's not. With a kind of...
Yeah, so it's that weird. Don't even have a philosophy. Well, that's what the religious nuts will do. You know, they'll play games like that. So you're right in that category. You're just a religious nutter.
Dogma that prescribes the world in such limited, and I have to say ignorant terms.
Right. So just be clear, okay? He's saying you can't describe the simple basic truth, okay? That there was abiogenesis that created a replicating cell, that cell through a carnage warfare of 4 billion years created tool implemented organisms, okay, that are duplicating still a DNA molecule. I am a collection of living things, okay, that still only has one DNA molecule that it's transferring, one DNA piece of code that it's transferring. All right, so even though I'm a multicellular organism, I'm not even technically alive anymore because I'm not a membrane and a DNA molecule. I'm an arrangement of molecules, of cells. And they're the things that are doing the sentient thing. So I'm not even technically even related to that first thing that was wiggling in the ocean because I function entirely different than it does. I'm a colony of cells. Yet, so this isn't the truth of our existence. We have consciousness for some other reason than because it was advantageous to organisms in manipulating the environment. That it's better to eat you. Okay, if I have a thinking brain, I can catch you and I can trap you. Easier to eat you with. And that's all that's going on here. So he thinks there's some other truth there. There's another truth that we're missing. It's not consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, and addiction. He says there's something else, but he won't say what that fucking thing is. But he says all the scientists believe in it. He'll say that. It's the truth, and all the other scientists believe in it, whatever that other thing is.
I also want to be associated. This is again kind of an anti-intellectual thing, kind of. I wouldn't want to be associated with a movement or a cause, certainly not a philosophy, that just tries to invent stuff. I'm sorry, Gary, this is almost directed to you, but perhaps Jay Sandra as well.
Oh, you don't have to say you're sorry. I hate your motherfucking ugly guts, okay? Drop the fuck dead as soon as fucking possible. I'll be all the fucking happier. Alright? You're a goddamn evil bastard lying prick. So don't be sorry, fucker.
I mean, some of the science that you pull out of your arse.
Yeah, prove it. Prove it. Prove. What science did I pull out of my ass that has something to do with antinatalism? Oh, if you're going to talk about my draft science videos, well, that's a different subject, isn't it? But the antinatalism videos are right there. The Ephelis videos are right there. Okay, if you say there's some fake science in one of those videos, then point it the fuck out. Or else you're a fucking liar.
The maths equations of suffering, or J. Sander, your graphs of pain and suffering, these are horrible. I mean, they're not in the context.
Oh, prove it. Prove it with a rational, logical argument than your fucking goddamn, your dogmatic proclamation of wrongness. I proclaim you're wrong. Yeah, brilliant. You're going to call us anti-intellectual and this is what you bring to the table?
They're just laughable in their content. But they're, what is that? it's you know, it's less than sophomoric. It's just so completely bogus.
Well, gee, why don't you guys? Why don't I play your old clip from one of your old videos where you're pointing out how lame and bullshit the anti-antinatalist argumentation was, because all it was this kind of crap. Your argument is lame and bullshitty and stupidity. That's what you're doing. Are you going to say something real? Are you going to make a real claim of a truth here somewhere? A claim of a fact? I haven't watched this video, so I don't know what's coming, but I presume that won't be coming.
Fake. You know, if any creationist did that, or if, you know, if you saw Kurt Campbell or whatever he's called, or Ray Comfort doing that, which is the kind of stuff they do, or Ian Jerby, you would quite understandably laugh at it, because it is stupid. It's just stupid. It doesn't have any intellectual merit at all, but you're presenting it as if it's maths, as if it's science, and it just isn't. Making stuff up.
Right, so we've made up the concept that desire is sort of an addiction syndrome that makes you want things in the world. It creates a perception of value. The value isn't in the thing you're trying to get. The value is in your perception of it. And that there's a simple distinction between that and the value of rescuing a damsel in distress. That the value of doing that is in the thing needing rescuing, not in your perception. Duh. No, that's religion. Just fuck you with the biggest, fattest thing we could find to fuck. Fuck you with Saturn. Fuck you in the ass with goddamn Saturn.
Well, again, I wouldn't want to be associated with any term that has those sort of practices going on within it. So I wouldn't call myself an antinatalist for that reason.
Well, thank goodness, really, frankly. I mean, I don't think we should let you in the club or the cult, yeah. So I'm glad you don't want to be a member, because you fucking suck. Liars suck. No liars allowed. Liar.
And also, something else. There was something.
Yeah, why don't the fact? That's right. You were supposed to provide a fact. You were supposed to quote something and then actually provide a fact, not just sit there and say, I think that's silly. Ha ha ha, I'll laugh at it. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, brilliant counter argument.
Yeah.
Pussy.
Well, I guess crypto-fascism. I mean, and this is Gary, I mean, I know you go off on one sometimes, you say stupid things, you are an arsehole, you know, sometimes you really are. And I think it's really unfortunate that people parrot your arseholery.
Yeah, well, fuck you. I'm proud to be an asshole now. Really, if it separates me from you, fine.
You know, I mean, the idea that, you know, to sterilise the poor, yeah, you just say bullshit like that. But the fact is that people pick up on it now.
Yeah. You know what I say? I say pay the poor. I've said that. I've said it in videos, more than one video. I said let's pay them to be responsible human beings. Okay, if we have to. Let's pay them. Okay? Not to be a fucking menace.
Assholes for picking up on it. And there's no real other word for that apart from crypto-fascist. Or if I had a button that would kill everyone, I'd do it. You know, half a dozen people said said that now. That's crypto-fascist bullshit.
Oh, yeah, whatever. You can call it anything you want, but it's the solution to the problem. That's how you fix things, okay? If there's something out of control, there's a rabid dog, there's a machine that's running amok, you unplug it. You pull the spark plug lever thingy. You do something to stop the fucking thing. Duh. But if you don't want a solution, if you want it to just keep running amok, yeah, then you listen to assholes like you and you do nothing. You just sit in your fucking ass and do nothing.
It really is. And I wouldn't want to be associated with them. It's crypto.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be associated with an asshole not willing to jump in front of a tank for the right cause. And so fuck you, because yeah, who wants assholes like you? Fence-sitting assholes who'll do not a goddamn thing. They'll invest in nothing. They'll commit to nothing. You're a useless piece of shit. Fuck you.
I mean, if you can't see that there's a kind of political dimension to what you're doing, then that's...
I've put the fucking political dimension right in people's faces. So again, this is just such bullshit. I mean, if you're fair and you say, yeah, this will be the real world consequence, this will probably mean civil war. It probably will mean that there was going to be some bloodshed, because the end is going to have to be the end. There has to be a winner and a loser. There is no compromise. You can't compromise with Frankenstein. Dr. Frankenstein. There is no compromise. He either makes monsters or he doesn't make monsters. There's no compromise. All right? And so I faced that truth. I put it right on the table, and then you ridicule that. So there's no winning with you assholes. If you bury that truth, then you're a fuckwit. And if you throw it right in your face, then you're a fucking goddamn fascist. Well, fuck you, shithead.
Ignorant beyond belief. And that would be enough reason for me to stay away from that term, almost or something else. Explore it in different... I do.
Yeah, whatever. You talk shit on the internet. That's all you fucking do. That's it. If it wasn't for your goddamn title and the fact that you're given automatic credibility from your past reputation, yeah, I wouldn't be bothered with you because you're a fucking religious nut.
A lot of people about these ideas. I'm starting to talk to you fuckers anyway.
Yeah, well, I got no interest in talking to you either, shit for brains.
There's probably other reasons too, actually. It's not a broad enough church of people involved, too anti-intellectual, too dismissive of the people who you disagree with, far too dismissive of people who are...
assholes.
Not of your intellectual level, apparently. The poor, the uneducated.
Yeah, and let's understand, okay, being uneducated is an excuse for a lot of things, but it's not an excuse for being too stupid to realize you don't have kids so they can farm your farm or wipe your ass in your old age. If that's what you're having kids for, nobody has an excuse for being that fucking stupid. All right? There's no ignorance big enough to say that's okay, because I think even an ape, you could teach an ape through sign language not to be that big an asshole.
Man in the street. Far too cliquey. Not self-critical enough. I've said that before, so I won't repeat it. But I wouldn't want to be, again, associated with a term in which that kind of behaviour is acceptable. You know, you don't criticise one another, do you? And that's the thing.
Oh, please. I mean, come on. I've had huge fights with people, okay? There's still huge tension between me and other antinatalists because I won't accept their bullshit when they're talking bullshit. So fuck you again.
So.
And you don't think there's plenty of them ridiculing me for being too aggressive or too this or too that? I mean, you're just a liar, Fred. You're just a fucking liar. I mean, it's, you know, how do you say shit like that with a straight face?
You can't criticise one another. And in fact, you will alienate one another, don't you? When poor old Fedea started saying, and he's a card-carrying member of the Antinatalist choir. No offence, Fedea, but you you go for it. You know, but the fact that he could be considered persona non grata is hilarious. I mean, who would want to be part of a movement? What is it?
So 1 minute we're supposed to be critical of each other, next minute we're not supposed to be critical. So now again, double speak. It's just double speak all over the fucking place.
People's Popular Front of Judea, as opposed to...
Damn, ran out of time. Okay, so I'll back up a little and play a little extra of this and do it again because this is an important point.
Part of a movement. The People's Popular Front of Judea, as opposed to Judean Popular Front. I mean, it's that, isn't it?
Right. So now he's comparing an argument about the simple fact that someone would argue there's no point in having a civil rights movement or an anti-rape movement, for example, if you're just going to say, I advise people not to rape. I'll give them the choice to rape, and I'll just say, well, it'd be nice if you didn't do that. Versus somebody who says, no, we got to pass laws. You got to pass laws saying people can't rape, and you got to punish the motherfuckers when they rape. And so they would find it just totally ludicrous to have members of their movement who weren't for punitive, aggressive measures to get the job done. That's what the argument sort of was on, but then it found out that there was a nuance, and the only nuance was the red button stuff. But let's not get into that.
Who would want to be associated with that, really? I certainly wouldn't. So no, those are some of the reasons why I am not an antinatalist.
You're not an antinatalist, Fred, and just name it for the right reason, okay? Because you believe there is spiritual energy. You believe human beings are somehow providing some sort of mechanism that keeps the universe running. You've already said it. And you've said it's ludicrous for somebody not to believe in that. What the fuck was that? Wasn't this fucking camera?
There are probably others. But I do think there's an argument to be had about the moral significance of procreation, comparing it to the moral significance of taking a life out of the world.
Again, what's the point of the comparison? Because you will not make people accountable the same as you would for murder. You're saying it's not comparable to murder. You're saying there can be no legislation. There can be no imposition on somebody's choice. So what's the point in saying it has the same gravity and yet there's no consequence for a trespass against that gravity? Fuck that.
That is an interesting topic. I am exploring it elsewhere, not exploring it here in this stupid, contaminated, toxic environment where stupid people say stupid things.
Yeah, well, whatever, where silly assholes fuck sensitive creatures. Well, they insult the dignity of their miserable, horrid death.
Oh yeah, one more thing. Sorry, I almost forgot this. Derived energy. Fuck. You're a candidate to this, but I'm sure it applies to other people as well. It's that kind of macho approach to antinatalism which I find very offensive. It's so stupid. This idea that, you singularly, maybe not quite singularly, because it's not just you, is the derived energy, but you singularly have got the balls to face up to the ugly truth of reality, that it's got no purpose, and that it's all about suffering, and look at this picture of this life.
Yeah, well, look, we've already known, you're a fake, Fred. You're a phony, okay? And you've demonstrated in little bits, you know what I mean? You talk about how you care about animals, but it seems quite obvious you really have no deep feeling on that subject. And derived energy doesn't either, but that's different because his game is the human game more than it was the animal one. But it doesn't matter anyway. So this critique is just such bullshit.
Dying and tearing this zebra's throat out, and look at these people dying of their burns. Look at these insects burrowing with a child's eye. Because only you have the balls to look at these images.
So yeah, you're gonna mock it and laugh at it, and you don't really understand, right? That most of the world doesn't see any of it. They don't give a fuck. They laugh at it. They think it's entertaining to watch dogs fighting to death, okay, or chickens or something else. Okay, that's what most people live, Fred. Most people don't mind torturing an animal and serving it up for dinner. Okay, they don't give it a thought. They don't give it a second thought. They don't give it any thought whatsoever. And so you're going to say that that isn't part of the reason why they don't do that is because it would be an uncomfortable truth. That's right. Uncomfortable truth.
Wait a minute, that is not fucking philosophical integrity. That is morbid fascination. I think you confuse.
Well, whatever. So now the accusation is as if it scares the fuck out of you or hurts you to see that it's morbid fascination.
Using.
I mean, this is the guy again who's made it into a cartoon. I mean, he's he has absolutely, it doesn't sway him in the least.
Intellectual rigour with the capacity to download atrocity porn from rotten.com. That's not the same thing. Lots of people look at the horrors of the world. It's not hard.
Well, I think this is just a pile of crap, Fred. Where in the pop culture is there any proportional representation for the price of our existence. Where is this proportional representation? So this is just a joke. Fuck you, you sadistic bastard.
It's not hard. In fact, it's funny a lot of the time. That's why people go to horror films. That's why people...
Oh, so this is your in-depth psychoanalysis of why people do what they do, right? The fact that they enjoy the competitiveness of even video games, let's say, that means they like murder. You know, people go to horror films like people ride roller coasters. Personally, I don't understand it, but people do it. Okay, they like to be excited. You're going to make that into some kind of philosophical statement that they're perfectly comfortable with mass murder. They don't mind if some mass murderer rapes and tortures their sister or their mother. Yeah, sure.
laugh at rotten.com images. People do it all the time. There's nothing remarkable about that. What's so difficult? What takes balls?
Yeah, what takes balls is to imagine what it would be like if you were the victim. Okay, that's what takes balls, is to truly ride the empathy roller coaster instead of this fake one where it's somebody else.
It's facing doubt, facing uncertainty, pushing an idea forward, not sitting back and looking at pictures of atrocities.
Well, he's not sitting back looking at pictures of atrocities, okay? He's using them for their effect. And lots of people do that, and there's nothing illegal about it. There's nothing anti-intellectual. Lots of intellectuals do the very same thing. Yeah, it tends towards a little bit being propagandish, but, I mean, some of it, you need to see it. I mean, you can say it in your head. You could say, wildebeest being eaten alive. But, yeah, when you do see it, it is a lot nastier.
So that's another reason why I'm not an anti-natalist.
Yeah, you don't have any real empathy. You don't have any real give a damn. I think you're just a vegetarian because it got you laid or something. I think that's the reason.
We need to make this video on YouTube, but there you go. The world without us. Oh shit, it's got a dog in it.
Yeah. Whatever that means. Another joke, right? That's all you got is some sort of joke. Poetry and jokes. Yeah. And we're the anti-intellectuals. You got the clown feed on. So whatever. Like I said, maybe I'll do this again and read this shit. But it's the same basic arguments, just made even more clinically and and pointedly and obnoxiously. And no facts, though. Not one single fact anywhere in there. Not one theoretical proposition that anything can be done with. Just a bunch of ad hominem attacks. Just slanders. Because he's a lying, petty little weasel motherfucker. Goose fucker. Rabbit fucker. Yeah, fuck him. I'll think what I will do, though, is read the comments. You know, that ought to be fun. 99? Holy shit. A lot of comments. This might be tiresome. Let's see. So Foolish Productions, who's, you know, whatever. This video so loaded with balls, you're going to keep the NBA dribbling the weeks on end. Dynamite Man. Best towers down with that shit, rock on. So you want to know why I don't have any use for you, shithead? That's the reason I don't have any use for you. So this is the last time. This is, yeah, we're done with each other, okay? I'm sick and tired of your bullshit. Blow smoke up every ass in town. So anyway. Conference board, underived energy. How is it a masculine origin and necessary disqualification for a point of view? If that's true, then its opposite could be disqualified based on gender. Well, who wants to even argue the macho accusation? I mean, fuck's sake. It's a waste of time. The problem is more than the toxic social dynamic of YouTube, if you can call YouTube social. What you mention here, I attribute... Look, it's not that complicated, all right? I mean, the anti-natalists have basically explained to you they feel raped by their existence. Okay, they see even worse rapes in the world, okay, happening to other people. They see even worse rapes happening to animals, all right, and they're saying, we're going to do something about this. This is bullshit. It's going to go on and on and on forever and ever and ever unless we do something about it. They're pissed personally, and they are philosophically quite certain, as certain as the abolitionists were that slavery was wrong, that it is fucking wrong to have kids unless you can write a paragraph explaining exactly what you're going to accomplish that doesn't have something to do with satisfying your needs. Not satisfying a need that exists in the world, but a need that exists in your perception only. Now, if you can write a paragraph that explains what your kid is going to accomplish or what you're guaranteeing us by having that fucking kid to justify the risk you're taking that it's going to do nothing but suffer and hate your motherfucking guts for imposing life on it, well then fine. But none of you assholes are doing anything close to that. So you can't understand why people are pissed. Well, fuck you. So anyway, let's see. And I am AN, but I wouldn't want to associate with a group of AN activists, especially when their ideas of activism consist of making videos on the internet about how shit life is. Pointless tail chasing. How ironic. LOL. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Don't prove anything. Just make accusations. Again, nobody quotes anything. Nobody points out exactly how this video was atrocious. Points out the atrociousness of it. None of that, because you're all fucking just slandering pussies who won't have a stand-up fight. You won't stand up and fight. Okay, you shoot from the woods, you shoot from under rocks, you shoot from all the little hidden places, but you won't stand up and have a fucking fair fight. Whatever, dust spook crap, who cares? Conference report, must have missed that one. I'll see if I can find it. I don't know what that was. Yeah, that's it. Well, I guess I'll have to do the fucking whatever, thread it. So there's some more, whatever, continuity here. Probably should go to the bottom, but fuck it. Let's do the top. Must have missed that one. No. Yeah. That's a big ultra fave, my friend. Yeah, another foolish production bullshit comment. You look different. Did you shave? Oh, who cares? This is so profound and evidence of these brilliant human beings on planet Earth. You're talking about the the extinction of the human race and all life on Earth, and this is what the asshole wants to talk about, is whether Fred shaved or not. Anyway, there's too much to the tranquil, the asshole. There's too much to say. I might have made a video myself, even though I hate the idea of it. Just one more thing, though. I agree with your point 6, but at the end you write, and don't even get me started on ephilism. It is definitely odd because these things you're critiquing lump into okay, so yeah, he's pointing out the obvious that conference report's gripe is with me and ephilism apparently, and but whatever, it's not my fault. Fuck you people. I've tried to separate me from your bullshit nonsense, your useless commentary on reproduction. Please don't rape the women. Yeah, I've done my job. The issue with this video, though, again, you seem as someone who attacks the messenger instead of dealing with the message. Well, yeah, that's all it was. This is what they hate the most. This video explaining why you wouldn't want to be grouped with people you see as anti-intellectual. Yeah, whatever. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Oh, Bob Chaos, asshole, super double, triple asshole, asshole squared for sure. People have dealt with the arguments, which are nothing more than subjective whining. So here's, where's your deal with the argument? Why don't you give me a list there, Bob? The fact that the people supporting it insist that it is totally objective holds no more. Again, that's not what they're saying. They don't give a fuck, okay? Objectivity is a separate subject, but if you want to make it an issue, if you want to say something stupid like the fact that suffering sucks is a subjective truth, not a universal truth, or not a real truth, or not an absolute truth, and you can call other things truths that are, in my opinion, preposterous nonsense, and you'll be comfortable saying they're truth, I'm saying you're an idiot, you're an asshole, you're a fuckwit. And yeah, there's no conversation between us. Our brains are incapable of having any civil conversation, because if you can't accept that truth, then all language is meaningless. Insisting their God is really real. Yeah, again, so the fact, the theory that suffering sucks is inherently a negative thing in the universe to be avoided, to be diminished, to be reduced, that truth is just as true, just as weak as the Christian argument that God is Jehovah, or whoever the fuck, whatever his name is. I am that I am. Yeah, right. They're in the same category. That they're founded on the same kind of logical inference. I have no rational reason to believe suffering sucks. Fuck. Frankly, T, I couldn't give a fuck what most people you refer to think. I wouldn't waste my protein arguing with a brick wall of dogmatic ignorance, and the wall of dogmatic ignorance that passes for AN philosophy here. So again, dogmatic. What's dogmatic? Abiogenesis, evolution. These are dogmas now, because that's all it's based on. It's taking those two things and being accountable to them. What do they mean? All right? What is the logical consequence of abiogenesis and evolution? What's that consequence? And the consequence is dumb forces make dumb things. I don't include you in that designation, by the way. Yes, sweet-talking, tranquil. Hilarious. Oh, more tranquil. He's just typing all kinds of bullshit. Well, let's do one real quick. You said the environment's completely toxic. No, I already read that one. Fuck it. Glad to see you off the fence. Nice upload, even with the gale force wind background. Ha ha ha. Oh, they're going to talk about the wind, I guess. All he said was that he isn't YouTube AN. It's like saying atheists are all pretentious, so I'm atheist in the basic sense of the word. Not a lot of content in this video. Yeah, you're damn straight, and there wasn't a lot of content. Wasn't any. You are probably right, but in my humble opinion, his uncertainty is showing more and more. It's obvious what my position is, and so I offer encouragement. Peace. It's obvious? I don't know. Smitty is obvious, apparently. Good video. Do call myself Antinatalist, although I do like a lot of YouTube Antinatalists, and I don't consider myself part of the community. A few questions. Where's the evidence and ANN selectively applaud ideas that support their worldview? I know AN ridicule other viewpoints a lot, but I can't think of them ever selectively applauding arguments that have no merit. Yeah, that would be good to hear the argument, right? What's the name of that Schopenhauer book you mentioned? I'm not skeptical. I would just like to know. I don't want to know the name of the book. I want to know what the fuck Schopenhauer said that is so meaningful and profound. And why my ability to draw a conclusion is not as meritorious as his. I never read Schopenhauer. I acquired an ethicist philosophy without ever reading Schopenhauer. Why do I owe him anything? Why do I have to throw a token in his direction? I don't understand. Could you ask the wind to turn his volume down? Well, see more. Wow, that's really so relevant again. You can't agree with most of what you said, of course, but regardless of that, thanks for making a video for the contest. This was a contest entry? I don't even know if that's true. Which bits don't you agree with, and why, of course? Well, the whole thing was a slander, so I guess she's going to probably disagree with every fucking sentence of it. I see no problem with believing in hard determinism and striving to make a better world by promoting good and ethical ideas. Although your impact is predetermined, its value isn't any lesser. Well, the point is that every cause requires you to go through the process. If nobody just gets off their ass and does it, then the process doesn't change. So the only way change happens is people have to read their script. I'm reading my script. We all read our scripts. That's the way it works. I mean, fuck you, people are so fucking stupid. You don't even understand the simplest function of determinism. People changing your mind is part of determinism. Somebody says something, it impacts you, it changes your thought process, and you think differently because of it. That's determinism, you stupid shits. So conversation is part of changing, but it's the deterministic part. You're reading a script, but the script still has to be read. Oh, damn it. We all have our scripts to play, and how it turns out changes the future. Right, and it's determined. it's inevitable. There is no probability. There's no any of that stuff. But from our perspective, it can only be viewed as having these things because we can't know all the variables. But the truth of the determinism is fixed. And I'm just reading my script. If antinatalism is to prevail, it was predetermined to happen and did so due to the individual play their role. Exactly. The argument has to be made. It'll either be understood or it won't be understood. It'll either be convincing or it won't be convincing. That's just the way it's going to work out. I guess you're arguing a form of compatibilism which would work, but I don't know if any antinatalist who has self-identified as that. Yeah, well, why would I call my something is? I mean, I don't even like antinatalism, but some word like compatibilism, I'm really not compatible with. That is not compatibilism. Good for you, Trick. Most determinists are hard incompatibilists, such as myself, see no conflict in striving to make a better world by promoting ethical ideas and the complete lack of free will. Why do you think there is a conflict is beyond me. Side note, my first book will be on free will, and that part will be addressed in full. After the ethics, which the lack of free will is important to factor into. Then antinatalism, or whatever. I mean, ethics and lack of free will. Again, I mean, you can still fault things for being broken. You can still call things stupid. Determinism doesn't give people the right or the liberty or the excuse to be stupid. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Because there's programs running. Okay, and you can call something shit. Okay, maybe it can't be anything else but shit, but you can still call it shit. It's shit. I mean, a broken clock is a broken clock. You don't call it a working clock. Yeah, you don't persecute it for being broken, but you call it what it is, broken. I look forward to reading that book. I am neither an antinatalist nor a pro-natalist. I think that bringing a life into this world is actually force, but it is justified force. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I liken it to the draft. Well, that even makes less sense. In order to serve society, you draft the dead edible stardust into living stardust and will force it to risk suffering in the pursuit of happiness. Well, I didn't want to pursue happiness. And society has a massive debt to pay the new lives in the form of opportunity to increase overall happiness through hard work. Well, this is all crap. I mean, god damn it. We don't have any of those freedoms or rights, so what's the fucking point of all that drivel? The pro and anti labels aren't terribly helpful in my opinion. Well, whatever. It seems quite obvious they're two different things. You're either for rape or you're against rape. But, you're too stupid to understand. Conference report. There's another silly professor, overpaid asshole. I know I have looked around for better terms, and there really isn't any for the middle ground of I think I should have stabilized the economy and population, and well, whatever. He's going way off the subject. I think demonstration was suggested and considered too humane. I don't know what that means, but fuck it, we'll just move on. It's something more relevant. Ooh, due in the morning. This ought to be funny. Atheists are immature, not on speaking terms with intellectualism, and backward. Immature because about evolution. Well, gee, your fucking English is kind of immature. They know only one thing: DNA replicates in cruel competition, which is woefully incorrect. So here we go. There's another person who doesn't believe in evolution. Right, because that's the game, you idiot. The cruelty of the competition is guaranteed because the forces have no give a damn about how bad it gets. I've stated it before, but if metamorphosis in insects caused horrific suffering, nature would do nothing to change it, because all it cares about is that a butterfly is going to pop out of that thing. And it's just not going to matter how much it tortured the butterfly before it pops out. Which is woefully incorrect. Non-intellectuals, because they don't have an idea of what philosophy is. Philosophy deals with the explanations for humans of the way the world works. It's a description of reality. You want to play word games, fine. What is a good society, and how can human life be improved? Again, this is bullshit. You're either describing the truth or you're not describing the truth. Philosophy is describing the truth. If you're doing something else, then you're not philosophizing properly. backward because they mean to impede progress. Progress of what? More poor people, more disease, more suffering, more cancer, more bullshit, more suicides imposed by you. Typical AN evolutionary theory goes straight from Mathis to Crick and Watson. Darwin would turn in his grave. Oh, prove that conference report. God damn, I wish you would prove that. I wish you would show me where in Darwinian theory of natural selection there is any room for this argument. Show me, prove it. You're such a piece of shit. I mean, really. I'll challenge you. $1,000. $1,000. To make a rational argument explaining how I have done something wrong to Darwin's theory. Well, we have to think of some way to give the prize away. Yeah, well, we'll have to think on that. Yeah, but can I seduce you with money? Well, let me know if $1,000 means anything to you to back up one of your slanders. And then we can set up a contest to see if you can meet the demands of an honest argument, a straight-up manly, macho, manly argument, instead of being a coward and a pussy and a lying piece of shit. I've never done anything wrong to Darwin. Darwin would fucking love my ass. Okay? Darwin was ignorant. Okay? He really was. Darwin didn't have the knowledge we have. He didn't see the chromosomes. If Darwin saw the chromosomes, he'd probably see it as the Frankenstein monster. He'd probably see that chromosome and say, oh my God, it's more insidious than I thought. It's just a molecule fucking replicating. It'd scare the fuck out of him. So you look at rotten.com and laugh about it, therefore suffering is okay. Yeah, exactly. Just a silly, stupid art. Personally, no, but I know plenty of folk who do. Well, that means it's okay because plenty of folk do it. Either way, it doesn't follow that suffering is therefore okay any more than it follows that only those who look at horror have the true picture of reality. Well, again, this is just a nonsense argument in the context of your argument, which is somehow it was inappropriate for derived energy to use images to make his point. The images are perfectly relevant to the subject matter and perfectly relevant to what he's saying. He's talking about death. He should show what death looks like. This is what death looks like, okay? Let's not pretend it's fairy stories and little flowers and fluffy bunnies. No, let's see it for what it is. Oh my God, what a horror. So Corey Anton throws in his great video, Fred. Thanks a bunch for slandering those evil antinatalists. So yeah, of course the professors all slander alike. Liars of a same shoe size or whatever. I'd like just one AN to tell their damn plan to the end the suffering of life. Well, we've done that over and over. Why can't any of them do that? We've already done this shit. I mean, what? I'd like just one AN to tell their damn plan to end the suffering of life. I mean, how more explicit can we be? All right, 85% of the human race is already replicating at a rate insufficient to maintain human population, which means inevitable extinction. So all we do is we empower the 80%, we disempower the 20%, and we win and humans go extinct. Now, as to getting rid of animal life, that's a whole other subject, but yeah, no problem. You just sterilize the planet. I'm not going to debate any about life or whether it is more suffering than not suffering. Just want to hear what the goddamn plan is. Well, I mean, shit, it's all over the place. Just type in red button somewhere, idiot. Is there any plan of action or not? Because it's looking to me like a giant internet bitch. Well, again, so you're just another slandering asshole. I mean, this has been going over and over and over and over and over. I mean, just so insulting. These people can't even go the trouble to fucking research the subject they're opining on, which is exactly my argument. If you want anti-intellectualism, Fred, look at your own comment section and the fuckwits commenting, and you'll find anti-intellectualism. People talking without knowing what the fuck they're talking about. I'm looking at your cakes. Whatever. Professor CWI. The Dark Bunny Rises. I've lived in... Well, who cares where you've left. I'm glad you addressed the problem of null history of AN and the anti-intellectual tendencies of its supporters faved. Yeah, yeah, there was just so much evidence and rational argument in his video. I'd like to read your take on the ethical problem of birth. Could you post a link, please? Thanks. He doesn't have an ethical problem with it, actually. So he's just full of shit. Let's see. What happened to your comment where you called me a coward? Coward. Geez. Fuck YouTube. Coward. Okay, now. Anti-intellectual fuckwit. Your turn. I guess he's fighting with somebody for no reason. Oh, that's cool. Sorry, CR, but you really come off as someone who thinks they can take the intellectual high ground here simply because they work in academia. Not the way it works. You made a large number of claims, a few I even agree with you on, but you did not support any of them. A very disappointing video that I hope you break down into smaller chunks to address each of the claims you made with actual support for them. Otherwise, you're just another spewing the very thing you are complaining about here. Yes. Alright, now Greatex, of course, chimes in here. Point 5 on his list. On a video where My Misery Me poses the question, sterilizing the poor, what's wrong with that? Your only comment response was, excellent response. Is this agreement or tacit approval of Jay's point? Yeah, so in a 3-hour video, one of the hour chunks, apparently the guy says the overall video was great, and now that means that he has to agree with every single point he made. So you can't say great video unless you agree with every single thing somebody says. I don't remember the video. Most likely it was a little of both. Why? It was a 3-hour video, so again he's going to argue this sterilizing the poor. Oh, what a crime. I did a search on it and cannot seem to find it, even directly on his channel. Can you provide me with a link so I know the video I'm addressing? Well, anyway, here we go again. Kindly present a video in question. Watch this video and you'll be pressed for time. I'll provide the quotation. Okay, there's a timestamp, although I may want... Whatever, so they're just going to argue about whether or not the poor... Well, what tactics should be applied to prevent irresponsible replication. And I've argued and advocated, and I'm sure Jay would agree, with taking away subsidies for having kids and have some responsible system where you give people more welfare if they don't have kids, and that you maybe even make super cool the greatest orphanages in the world and actually take kids away from these irresponsible assholes who really can't take care of their kids. I mean, I've seen them, okay? I mean, I've seen how these people live. I'm doing clerical work. It's not, indeed I am, whatever that means. I don't do clerical work, just not in video format. I don't know what that means. My comment to you is merely an observation of claims being made that have not seen you make arguments for, at least. So, well, anyway, Comp Support, I guess, is just saying... something like, whatever, I'm not going to argue it. I guess he's not going to do it. I wish I could have seen the image at the end. What was poor? Oh, the dog. Yeah, that was just conference report saying, see, here's a world with no life in it, except there was probably trees all over the place. So, again, he doesn't understand what life is. I also find the term a bit toxic. Now, for the same reason you mentioned, certainly it could be cleaned up a bit, although I'd rather avoid the ism due to the baggage it entails. Yeah, well, I'm not a dot guy. You're hardly even close to being on the subject. None of that can be exchanged. Well, whatever. Now they're just going to fight for emo. They're going to call it emo. All right. Well, in the words of the great Ferris Bueller, oh, great. Not that I condone fascism or any ism for that matter. Isms in my... Oh, whatever. Fuck this shit. Great text. Pretend this video never happened. I don't know what that... Oh, it's Skid Row Radio's comment. I guess I shouldn't just talk over it. Yeah, you shouldn't quote Ferris Bueller. Who cares? I quote John Lennon. I don't believe in the Beatles. I just believe in me. Well, whatever. I don't... Yeah, sorry. It's just all too obscure and pointless. May the Lord of Certainty free Gary from his absolute certainty of being right and knowing the truth. I don't know if your video will be enough to sober his... Well, there was no facts. Again, and what truth am I supposed to reject? Evolution? Okay, you tell me why I should do that. Why does he need to take everything so personally? I will burn an incense stick for him. That will please the whatever. Fuck you. Fuck bullshit. I'm just so sick of bullshit. Oh, the gabba gabba guy. If you have no interest in the matter, why are you in the comment section of an AN video, and why have you repeatedly felt the need to scold me about my take on it? Oh, good, because you're an asshole, that's why. Oh, here's a comment. If you see it as just an opinion, then this video isn't addressing you. Others see it differently. I'm sure you know. Well, again, there's no point in having just an opinion on slavery. You either do something about it or you don't. I think you are confusing intellectual rigor with the ability to download atrocity porn from rotten.com. That is not the same thing. That made my day. Excellent video. Yeah, I don't know. So again, you're not supposed to use images coherent to your message. All right, so as long as we know that's the standard, so we can catch you on that GABA guy, right? Because you're all about your intro and your bullshit. So then die. Oh, here we are back to great text telling you people to die again. All sentient life will come to an end whether you like it or not. Acting out of some primitive fear that life facing an inevitable will only lead to a slower, more painful extinction. So then die. So that's great text again, arguing that this is about how you live your life. It's not about antinatalism. It's not about natalism. It's not about procreation. Somehow it's about dying. So again, he can't stay on the fucking subject. Amazing. Why would I want to see anything you do? So then die, and I'm not going to watch your video. So yeah, okay, you're a real straight up fellow there, great text. Life doesn't die. Individuals die. Well, how does that make any sense? The Tyrannosauruses didn't die. Only Tyrannosauri die. No, Tyrannosauruses die. And how they choose to do that is up to them. Again, well, you'll argue they can do it by raping. And I'm saying, no, they can't do it by raping. Personally, I'm planning on carbon monoxide and a small party. Yeah, well, that's your choice. Again, that's not the subject, though. And it has nothing to do with the real game we're in. There's an end result, and again, you're going to play social contract games in a circumstance where the social contract can't apply anymore. The ball started rolling without any initiation, without any validation, without anything, and it can be stopped by the same cause. And the end game is a simple end game. It either will cause more suffering or there'll be less suffering. And you have to do whatever causes less suffering. So whatever. I'm not going to re-argue it. I've already argued that. But you're not going to pay any attention to that argument. You won't quote that argument. Because, yeah, that would be fair. And you don't want to be fair to the argument. So anyway, it's all just slander and puke. And Fred sucks. Yeah, I was right. So I was right, after all. See, everybody was pissing at me a little bit because they're like, why are you being so hard on Fred? Well, Fred sucks, and here we have the evidence finally. So the deal is done. I was right again. Fred's a religious kook. He's basically pointed it out clearly in this video. Clearly in this video, he says it's unreasonable to think the three dimensions we see are the dimensions, that this is the universe, that our senses are tied to all the available relevant knowledge there really is. There isn't any knowledge relevant to our comfort or existence or anything that we don't have access to, either through our five senses or the technology we've augmented them with. But even the augmenting technology doesn't have much to do. You don't really need augmenting technology to figure out how to stick your willy in the vagina. So, I'm sorry, but it really isn't that complicated. And we are in the game that there is. This is the game there is, and it's a stupid game. Consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, addiction. His fifth ingredient, he won't label it, he won't call it anything, he won't say what it is, because he's a pussy. But I'm sure it's got some sort of Buddhist bullshit tied to it somewhere, right? It's got to have some sort of singularity, nonsense, bibble, babble, fifth dimension crap. So yeah, it's a fable. It's religious mush that he's clinging to. So enough said. He's a religious nut. There. Yeah, my job is done.